Why are you here?
Just being nosy.
My name's Matt, I'm a police officer.
Okay.
Obviously you're on police premises.
Okay.
So we're just asking why you're here. What's that?
It's,
tripod, is it?
yeah, something like that.
Okay.
What is your purpose of being here?
What do you mean?
What is your purpose with a mask, covering your face and your hood up?
It's cold.
Yeah?
Very cold.
Is there anything that we can help you with? Is there any information you need to know?
What's the issue?
What's that?
What's the issue?
Well, you can acknowledge
that's
it's
what
a
we're
little bit
asking us.
suspicious. I'm just coming to see if you're okay. There's no issue.
Suspicious about what?
Well, you're on police premises, you've got
Right.
your face covered, you've got something that I can't identify sticking out your trouser pocket, so we're just looking to learn more. What's your name?
Why do you need my name?
Okay, mate, I'm going to search you.
Right, calm yourself down. What are you searching me for?
I'm going to search you for offensive weapon.
For an offensive weapon? You
Yeah.
already said it's a tripod. I told you it's a tripod.
Okay, well, you're saying
Right,
that, but I can't satisfy.
From the moment they engage with him, the tone gives everything away. This isn't about figuring anything out, it's about acting on a conclusion they've already reached. What they point to as suspicious doesn't really hold up, yet it becomes the foundation for everything that follows. When the conversation turns to his identity and he doesn't provide it, the interaction doesn't slow down or get properly explained, it escalates immediately. There's no clear grounding laid out. No effort to justify why the situation actually requires that level of action, and that matters, because powers like these are supposed to come from clear, objective reasoning, not from deciding someone is a problem first and then working backwards to make the situation fit.
Hostile? Is it any need for the
you are
cuffs?
being hostile.
So is there any need for the cuffs?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you're not
you need to
cooperating
keep,
with
I
us.
don't need to cooperate with
you
you.
need to keep us safe.
I'm not doing nothing
and
wrong.
you safe.
Can
We
you
are
identify
calm.
yourself, please?
PC 20361,
Right,
just
okay.
as I said
So
to you
what's
before.
the grounds for the search?
Our grounds for the search are for an offensive weapon. You're on police premises. You're on police premises.
That's not
We don't
grounds.
know who you are. You've got your
That's
face
not-
covered.
that's not grounds.
Well, it's good enough for me.
It's not good
okay?
enough. It's not good enough at all.
It is.
It's absolutely preposterous. What's the grounds for the search? For an offensive weapon? So what's led you to believe I've got an offensive weapon?
You got something that we can't identify.
When you identified it, you said it was a tripod.
I said, is that what it is? But I can't see what it is.
Right, you don't need to see what it is.
All right.
It's a tripod.
Get back to square
It's a tripod.
one.
No, but don't get back to square one.
So why are you
Did
here?
you identify yourself? Did you?
You've asked me 3 times.
I might
mate.
not have heard you.
Yes,
yeah. Yeah, okay.
Well, you've got your camera.
And I'm not
on,
your
so
mate,
you'll be
okay?
able
You've
to-
literally just come out and put me in handcuffs,
Okay,
so I'm
all right,
definitely
all
not your
right,
mate.
okay, all
Okay?
right,
So do
okay.
you mind formally
All right.
identifying
Do you-
yourself, please?
Do you want to just sit
Identify
down
yourself,
for a
please.
second?
No, I don't want to sit down.
I've already
Identify yourself.
identified
Show me
myself.
a warrant card,
I'll
read it.
collar 45.
Got in your name?
I don't need to give you my name.
You do, 3 points identification.
No, I don't.
Are you based out of here?
I don't need to tell you
Do you
that. I'm
mind-
collar
can you be-
45.
Once they take hold of him, the situation escalates further, despite there being no resistance to justify it. Restraints are supposed to be used based on necessity, not simply because someone isn't answering questions the way officers expect. Framing a lack of cooperation as a reason to increase control flips the purpose of those powers entirely. The explanation about checking for a weapon also struggles to hold up when the item in question has already been identified, yet it's still used to justify pushing things further. On top of that, one officer doesn't even meet basic identification standards. Proper practice requires clear identification, typically a name or warrant number along with their role, not just a brief mention of a collar number. Taken together, it points to escalation without a solid foundation.
It's
I've
very
already showed you
expensive.
my ID.
Can you be careful with that? It's very
Of course I will.
expensive.
Of course I will. But you can see that I can only see that bit
You said it was a
sticking out,
tripod. I don't care.
sticking out
And
of your
what?
trousers.
And your point?
So why are you being argumentative?
Argumentative, you just come out and put me in cuffs, are you dumb?
Yeah, because
are you
you've
stupid?
you've come onto
Are you
police.
stupid? You've not given me any grounds for the search, okay, except you're looking for an offensive weapon. That is
Yeah.
not grounds. So you're going to find yourself
It
a
is
hole.
grounds.
It's not grounds at all.
identifying yourself.
It is
You're on
grounds.
police
What do you
premises
say?
acting
You're looking-
suspiciously, walking
And
around
what?
all of the
And what?
cars.
It's a public place.
It's still police
We're
premises.
not allowed to walk about here.
It's got
And what?
implied public access, but it's still police premises.
Right, so I've been on here.
You've got your face covered,
and
you've got that portion of this sticking out of your trousers.
Would you say that to someone wearing a burqa? Would you?
Yes, I would.
Would you?
Yeah.
That's despicable. Absolutely despicable. You don't need to know why I've got my face
I
covered.
see what your agenda is here.
What agenda is that?
You're just trying to make a point for making a
What are you
point's
talking about? You
sake.
just come out and put cuffs on me,
But it's not clear what
and
that
you've not
point
given me grounds
is.
for the search. You've not told me
It's
what.
in-
We've given you the grounds. We've gone through
You're
about
looking for
3 times.
that's not grounds, my friend.
The grounds are you're on police premises.
And that is not grounds for a search.
You're not letting me finish. So
Yeah, because you're talking nonsense.
you're talking nonsense.
Just bring him over here.
Yeah.
Finish the search and do what you got to do, and then we'll see what happens, because I guarantee you I'm going to drag you boys into a professional standards investigation, and then I'm going to sue the living daylights out your constabulary.
Calling him argumentative at that stage is simply a way to shift focus away from what has actually taken place. Questioning officers doesn't create grounds, it highlights when grounds are missing. The bigger issue is the contradiction they've boxed themselves into, acknowledging it's a public space while still treating his presence as something that needs policing. That doesn't align. When TLA says he's going to take it further, that carries weight, because situations like this can be formally challenged. Unlawful detention, misuse of search powers, and unnecessary use of force are not minor complaints. They can lead to investigations and financial liability for the force. To that point, the focus shifts to whether the officers can actually justify their actions under proper scrutiny.
Suspiciously. What am I doing that's acting suspiciously?
Hood up, face covered, we're asking your name, what you're doing, you've got something sticking out your pocket.
You're not
which we
obliged to
can't
any of that
identify.
information. You're not obliged to any of that information.
What do you mean obliged?
You're not obliged to any of that information. You can ask me, but I'm not obliged to provide any of that information.
What's caused this? So
what piece of legislation have you used to stop and search me?
So why are you here?
We search you under Section 1 of PACE.
That's none of your business.
It is our business.
No, it's not.
As I've just explained.
No, it's not.
We're
I'm not
police
obliged to.
officers.
I'm not
You're on
obliged
police
to answer
premises.
that.
You've got your face covered.
I'm not obliged to
You're
answer
carrying
that.
something that looks at a distance like a weapon.
If you say so.
It is our business.
If you say so.
Well, I'm just trying to talk to you and trying to establish what the
So
issue
am
is.
I
every
obliged
day.
to answer you?
No, not
exactly.
at all.
So shut up and just do your job.
We're going around in circles. You're telling me to shut up, and then you're asking us questions.
Be quiet.
So does this go both ways? Does it?
No, it
so
doesn't.
I've got shut. Oh, and it doesn't.
No, it doesn't go both ways.
Oh, right. No,
it's
it doesn't,
definitely
does
one
it?
way. You're
Okay.
a public servant. You do what you're told.
There's a lot of worried people inside
I don't
that
care about
building.
those people.
You don't care about the people that are worried because there's somebody.
They're worried enough to have locked the doors before
Oh
we
no!
came out.
Oh no! Did it hurt someone's feelings?
Well, they don't know why you're here. You're
none of
giving
their
people
business.
concern. That's what we're
It's
trying
none
to
of
explain.
business.
That's what we're trying to explain to you.
It's none of their business. I'm not obliged to answer
the
that.
issue is you're here with a body cam.
Look at the order of events. They put hands on him first, then start scrambling for justification afterward. That sequence says a lot on its own. When TLA asks what power they're actually relying on, the answer should be immediate and clear if it's legitimate. Instead, it's vague and shifting. Bringing Section 1 PACE into it as a safety justification doesn't fully align either. That power requires specific, articulable suspicion of prohibited items, not a general feeling that something seems off, especially when they already knew he had a tripod. They then fall back on people inside feeling uneasy, as if that somehow increases their authority outside. It doesn't. A public space doesn't stop being public because someone inside a building feels uncomfortable about what they can see from it.
Don't take that off. It's a medical device. It's attached to my body.
What is it?
It's not. It's a medical device. That's all you need to know.
If you just tell me what it is.
It's a medical device. It's attached to my body.
Okay. What sort of medical device?
It's a medical device.
What does it do?
Again, I'm not obliged to answer that. It's attached to my body. It's a medical device.
You're not enabling me to make a reasonable decision, are you? Because I don't know what it is. You're telling me it's a medical device.
If you're going to pull it off, you're going to injure me, and you're going to put my life at
why
risk.
don't you just tell me what it is?
I've told you it's a medical device.
For what?
For medical reasons.
Is it for insulin or something?
Again, I'm not obliged to answer you. I've told you it's a medical device.
Well, you're not making my job very easy, are you?
I'm not here to make your job easy.
I need the number of this backpack because I need to establish what's in here.
No, I reserve the right to remain silent on that question. If you break it, you'll be liable to pay for it.
I think you're not going to leave us much option other than to arrest you.
Arrest me.
Suspicion of carrying an offensive weapon, judging by your demeanour, how you're dressed, how you come to our attention in the first place. So we'll have to.
You're twisting the cuffs again.
In order to
My
gain-
hands are staying
You're twisting the
still.
cuffs. Look at them, man. If you arrest me, then that's down to you. I'm not here to help you do your job.
Asking for access to his bag is one thing, but using the threat of arrest to force compliance is where the situation becomes more problematic. Refusing to provide a code isn't evidence of wrongdoing, it's a choice he's entitled to make. Turning that refusal into justification for escalation suggests the officers are running out of solid footing. The offensive weapon angle also struggles to stand up when it's based on appearance or assumptions rather than anything concrete. That isn't properly grounded suspicion. What it begins to look like is pressure being applied to obtain compliance, rather than a clear and lawful use of powers. Because if genuinely strong grounds existed, there wouldn't be a need to escalate simply to get past a locked zip.
But if you do arrest me, then I'll obviously be legally obliged to provide a code.
Why don't you give me the number to this?
Because at this moment in time, I'm not legally obliged to. Once I'm legally obliged to, then by all means.
In relation to you,
I've only been here for 5
worrying
minutes.
people inside the building to the point the doors have been locked.
Is that a crime?
It's not a crime, but it's raised concern. Nobody said it's a
Well,
crime,
it's-
is it?
Well, why have you got me in handcuffs? He's threatening to arrest me.
Because we're doing a search.
See, I'm not here to help you do your job. Investigate. Maybe do that first before you put someone in cuffs.
But you're going to need to leave.
I'm not going to leave.
Yeah, you are going to leave.
On what lawful basis are you going to make me leave?
You don't need to leave here. We're satisfied that
What are
you've
you
got
going to do
nothing
if I
on
don't
you.
leave? Nothing.
Why be fearful that you're going to create a breach of the peace?
I'm not going to create a breach of the peace. If anyone's escalated this situation,
So we could arrest you to prevent a breach of the
was
peace.
I committing a breach of the peace before you guys arrived?
Listen to me.
Was I committing a breach of the peace before you guys arrived?
You've not
Was
been
there?
arrested for a breach of the peace.
You're causing,
He's just threatening to arrest.
causing a significant amount of concern whereby people
For what?
inside the building
And what?
felt the need to lock the doors.
Right? That's not my problem, is it? I'm out here minding my own business. It's not. It doesn't make it a crime. Doesn't.
They've already stated there's no offence, yet they still put hands on him, cuffed him, and searched his belongings. On its own, that raises questions about the strength of the legal basis being relied on. The breach of the peace justification also doesn't fit the situation as described. That power is intended for preventing imminent violence, disorder, or harm, not simply dealing with someone who refuses to comply with instructions to leave. It cannot be used as a shortcut just because an individual isn't doing what officers want in a calm, non-violent setting. Referencing arrest powers to prevent a hypothetical escalation in an otherwise controlled situation suggests the threshold is being stretched beyond its intended scope. Overall, it begins to look like the reasoning is shifting after the fact, rather than being clearly established at the start.
You're nonsense, man. You're talking nonsense.
Your presence and your actions here are not friendly.
Says who?
And you've
Says-
not accounted
says
for what
who?
your- And you've not accounted for what your
I don't need
presence
to
here
account for
is.
what I'm doing.
I need your details.
You don't need the details for a search record.
How am I going to give you the details then?
You don't
So
need
I
my.
can send them to you
do-
after the time.
No, I want
Explain to you,
a
we're
paper.
officers,
I
we
want
don't
a paper
carry-
copy.
We don't carry. I haven't got a paper copy.
You go get one.
But I can send you one if you give me the details. I can send you
There's
one.
a police station there.
Well, we're in a bit of a situation then,
Don't
aren't
refuse
we?
my search record. It's my right
Okay.
to have a
Well,
search record.
you can sit here.
It's my right to have a
You
search
can sit
record.
here, but I warn
And
you.
I do not need to provide details for a search record.
That's not our daily course of business. So
100% it is.
It's going to take a while.
I do have the right to a
No,
search
it
record.
isn't our daily course of business. That's not the type of police.
Well, you shouldn't come out
So
searching
I
people
will
for
get
no
you
reason.
one, but you will need to wait. And
Take the
therefore,
cuffs off.
I don't need to talk.
Take the cuffs off.
And you'll get a copy of the search. But as explained to you, you'll have to wait.
I think you're talking nonsense.
Okay. Do you understand what I said?
It sounded like gobbledygook.
Okay.
Okay, well,
You're going to get a
there's
copy
gonna
of
be
the
a
search,
copy,
but you're going to
yeah.
have to
I
wait
can only,
for
I
it.
can only hear one person at a time. You're talking over each other.
See you later.
So you're refusing my copy of a search. Is that what's happening? As is my.
Tille's update says a lot without going into much detail. He's clearly received a response, but the wording suggests it didn't directly engage with the core issues, more something that confirms what he already expected. When someone describes no surprise in the outcome, it often suggests the complaint has been handled in a way that protects the organisation rather than fully interrogating what happened on the ground. Looking back, what stands out is how much of the interaction leans on tone rather than clear legal grounding. Descriptions like "not friendly" get used as justification, but they don't themselves create or unlock any powers. Nor does a refusal to provide personal details automatically change the legal position. Even the claim that a search record couldn't be provided without his information doesn't hold up as a requirement. It functions more as pressure than procedure. Instead of clear follow-through or firm justification, there's delay and deflection whenever formal records are requested. The same pattern repeats. Avoiding anything that firmly pins the actions down in writing, what's left is an interaction where force was used, explanations shifted, and the legal basis was never clearly or consistently established.